We are live.
We are
Okay.
live.
We were just talking off camera, off the live, about how I watched a musical called Titanic once upon a time ago. Rachel recommended it to me, and I remembered it. And then when I saw the ads on the subway, I was like, Rachel recommended me that. I'm going to go buy myself a ticket. And then my best friend was like, I want to go watch it too. And then we watched it last weekend on Saturday. And I was telling her about how, no offense to anybody from Toronto, I doubt anybody from Toronto is watching this, but the Toronto production team who ran Titanic was just not as good as I thought it would be. So yeah, it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you saying before I cut you off?
Well, and I think you answered my question. I said, did you go with anybody?
Oh yeah.
Do you think that part of it was the show itself, or do you think it was all like the talent on stage?
It was the talent on stage and definitely the theater itself. So it wasn't, like the production of it was not, because like in Toronto, there's like this one street that has all the theaters, and it's like Broadway. It's like, like all the shows will play on that street. And then this one was in like a little further north, and it was in a smaller theater. And I was like, okay, like whatever, because like on Ticketmaster or like on their website, you can see the seating. And I thought, okay, these are like cheap tickets, like good seats. I can see it. But the incline, like once I got into the theater, the incline of the seats were not steep enough. So my seat from the very top, I couldn't see the bottom of the stage. And then for some reason, the directors and whoever was in charge of like placing the talent on the stage, they all focused it in the core pit area. And then so a lot of us couldn't see what was going on, like maybe like 20% of the time. We just ignored it. We were just like, whatever.
Yeah. My last question before we actually this, what was the general like audience reaction and vibe? What were you picking up from like everybody around you?
Well, I felt like I was like on the younger side of the audience. So like I didn't find like I felt like the jokes and like the humor and like everything was very I don't know, not to be offensive, but it's just like it was just a different type of humor than I was used to. Like, and then afterwards, but this was like something that would have been funnier for an older audience.
Gotcha.
So because the audience was like mostly on the older side, because this was like a 2 p.m. show, like it was like, an early one.
Yes.
So like a lot of the older folks really loved the jokes and like they were laughing their asses off. They were having a great time. But then like me and my friend who are like maybe on like the younger side, we're like, what is this? Like, what are we watching? So we didn't think it was that funny, unfortunately. And then there was this is my channel, so I can say whatever the freak I want.
Yeah, you can.
There was like a dildo. Like they put a dildo. You remember? Okay, so it's like on the New York production too as well. Okay.
They had a little literal eggplant.
Oh, okay. We had a dildo eggplant. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Did they light up the stage so that it looks exactly like the dildo? Oh, that's what they did.
No.
Yeah, like they mimicked the dildo color. It was like purple and then the green top. And I was just like,
oh,
funny, but not ha funny, you know?
Right.
Yeah. It felt like middle school humor. So yeah.
So the show we're talking about, it's called Titanic. It is essentially a parody of the Titanic film. It's like a 90-minute show that originated in New York. It's still playing in New York off Broadway. They recently started productions in other cities. Toronto is one of them. London is one of them. There's one, I believe, in Melbourne now.
Wow.
And maybe one other. But these are all like brand new productions, whereas the New York production has been playing for like probably 2 years at this point. And so, yeah, it's just like a very like funny and over the top parody. What I feel makes that show shine when it's done well is you have this combination of like truly amazing vocal performances with this ridiculous over the top humor that is just like endlessly entertaining. So I've seen it twice, both in New York. And both times, like the cast was stellar. So I was telling Lisa before we went live, I'm like, oh my God, next time you're in New York, I would love for you to get the chance to see the New York production because I think it's on a different level than what you're telling me of the Toronto production.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I felt like the Toronto one was just lacking a lot, and then I was just disappointed in the end. So I watched I started watching musicals last year, and then this was my first musical this year, and then unfortunately, not like I had to. If I were to rank it, it would be at the bottom. So yeah. It just, I don't know, it just wasn't good, the one that I watched, but I'm sure it was a lot better in New York. That's where all the talent is anyways. You make it to Broadway, the actual
I mean, New York is definitely
the talent.
The hub for theater, for live theater performances. Yeah. But what else have you seen recently? I feel like you've been seeing a lot of shows.
Yeah, I've gotten into it. So, the first one I ever watched was Aladdin. That was on Broadway. That was okay. I like that. And then I watched this hilarious one called Tim Hortons the Musical, and it was ran by Tim Hortons. It was to celebrate their 50th anniversary or something. And then I watched Mean Girls. Mean Girls was good.
That's a fun show. I really liked it.
That was fun. Yeah. Great. Oh, and then another thing I didn't like about the Titanic one, the Toronto production. Did yours have props? Did the stage change?
Props? Like literal props, like hand props? Is that what you're asking?
A table, settings.
Oh, no.
So the whole classes, they were just holding it, they were pinching air?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because I thought that was just a poor thing in Toronto.
No, that's just
okay. It's just the whole production, they just decided not to put props. I don't know.
Did they, for your production, there's it's a whole joke at the very end of the show that the set is supposed to look like the show Anything Goes. Anything Goes takes place on a cruise ship.
Oh yeah,
and it's a comedy. So at the very end of the show, they're Celine Dion is basically "Thank you for coming out to see Titanic on the set of Anything Goes."
Yeah. They said that, but I didn't catch it because I never watched the show Anything Goes. So I was just
it's an old music. It's from the 30s, but they've done countless revivals on Broadway since. But yeah, it's an old show.
Okay. Yeah. I'll keep that in mind for if it does come to Toronto. I'll watch that too as well then, if they keep doing revivals and things like that. I need to watch the Book of Mormon.
I saw it on tour. I liked it. It's not one of my favorite musicals ever, but I laughed. I mean, it's written by the same people who wrote South Park. It's that kind of humor. So yeah, it was okay. It's a good one.
Okay. All right.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now in Toronto, there's Lion King. Come Away With Me. Is it called Come Away With Me?
Ooh, Come From Away.
Come From Away. Sorry.
Go see that. Go see it.
Is it good? What?
Yes.
Right. Let me just add to cart and check out.
It is an amazing show. It really, really
is. I saw people leave the theater when they were they did their production out downtown, and everybody was like, "Oh, that was such a great show." And then
it's very well done. That's also one that's only 90 minutes. There's no intermission.
Oh, wow.
And it's so well paced.
Okay.
But yeah, that one is one of my favorite, I would say, recent musicals. I think it's just very well done and well written. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'm already looking at price tickets and everything. All right, well, let's focus. We gotta focus first. We can't just go shopping all of a sudden for theater.
Hey y'all. Hey Shan.
So guys.
Hadestown. I still have not seen Hadestown, but I've heard great things. But yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm in the wrong tab, and then now I get to see these comments. Hello everybody. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. We were talking about Titanic.
Titanic. Yeah.
6. Yeah, I need to watch Hamilton. That's another one that I need to watch.
Well, Hamilton, if you have Disney Plus, you can watch.
But it's it's not the same. I want to.
No, it's not quite the same. But if you want to see the original cast, than
Okay.
watch the Disney Plus,
Okay.
version. But yeah.
Gotcha. Hadestown has been your biggest surprise.
I've heard really good things.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out on that too as well.
I'm sure that's touring. That's gotta be touring around Canada, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not right now. I don't see the billboards for it, and I don't see the advertisements. Right now, it's just yeah. Right now, it's just Come From Away, Lion King.
Lion King's another one that I would say see it once. I feel like once you see it one time, like you're good. But it's a very creatively done production. There's a lot of puppetry that is really well done. And plus, I mean, it's Lion King. The music's iconic. It's, like it's definitely worth the ticket price, I would say.
I don't know. I watched Aladdin. I didn't really like it. So I think
Aladdin, in my opinion, is not a great stage musical. I was not a huge fan. I saw it on tour. And I just was not a huge fan of the changes they made. And I don't know. I just wasn't into it.
I fell asleep, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then in New York, the setting and the props that were used everything was really magical. Like the magic carpet ride, everything was just really theatrical, and there was things kind of popping up from under the stage because the stage was built that way so that they can change the scenery very quickly, and it was really cool to watch. But yeah, the music, some of the songs were way too long, and I was just falling asleep.
Yeah, it's not my favorite Disney on Broadway show. It just isn't. And it's been playing for so long and I don't really get it. At least Mary Poppins played for a really long time in that same theater. And I understand I saw it in that theater and I love that show. I think it makes a better stage musical than a movie actually. But with Aladdin, I'm I really don't. Newsies is also great. It's on Disney Plus. Or Netflix, or both. I can't remember. But
what's it called?
Newsies. They did a stage adaptation of it some years back, and there's a pro shot like they did with Hamilton, with the original cast. It's really well done.
Oh, Newsies is coming to Toronto. No, wait, no, he's not. It's not coming to Toronto. It's Beetlejuice is coming to Toronto. I don't know why my advertisements are all off, but yeah. Okay. Lion King, puppeteering's next level.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know they did puppets. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's puppets, it's full body puppets. It's very interesting how they did the different animals. Yeah, it's very creative. Very
interesting.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I guess we can talk about
we can talk about the books now. Now that we've finished talking about musical theater, randomly just spring this upon us. But yeah, I got to talk about musical theater to the expert of musical theater. So this is my only chance I can get it. So
there you go.
I'm selfish. I got to talk about the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah,
Rachel first. But yeah. So thanks for joining our live show. I'm gonna let Rachel talk about the books because I actually didn't read Stacy Reid's book. I've only read Joanna Shupe's novella, so didn't have enough time.
Did you read any of the Stacy Reid? I can't remember what you told me. I'm just curious.
I didn't read any of Stacy Reid's novella. No,
it's all good. So yeah, we wanted to do something different. Instead of doing a November pick and a December pick, we just chose 2 novellas to kind of cover our November and December picks, and then doing a live show in early January to kind of cover the holiday season a little bit differently. And so I was dying to read The Scandal of Rose by Joanna Shupe. And so I really wanted that to be a part of the live show. And then Lisa suggested the Stacy Reid, which is Wicked Deeds on a Winter Night. And so, yeah, I guess we should just talk about The Scandal of Rose since we both read that one. What did you think of it, Lisa?
I honestly thought, well, one, Joanna Shupe's writing is beautiful. I do love, I love how, like, I was nervous about it because I don't know why I was nervous about it. I think I was just nervous about it because it was like I had to sit down and read it. But I also read physical books nowadays. But I was also intimidated by it. I don't know where I'm going with this tangent. But as soon as I read page one, I was like, yeah, girl, you got nothing to worry about because it just flowed so easily. Yes. And it was so easy to sink into. And plus, it starts off like in the middle of like a really like, you know, dramatic scene. And then it ends in a dramatic scene. And then it works its way backwards of like how they became, you know, where their relationship is at the beginning of the book. So I thought, yeah, like I thought the characters were great. I thought that the hero's motivation of not getting married because, you know, he's worried about his reputation, and then he's also like sworn off women basically, but he loves Rose, but he's just like kind of like just he suffers a lot of trauma from it because he had a divorce and then his reputation was in tatters. And then that significantly impacted his father's health, which ultimately led him to die. So he feels a lot of guilt towards it. And then Rose herself, she's a lot younger. She's like, what, 20 years younger than him?
Essentially,
and, yeah. And she's like young, bright, independent, witty, fiery, explosive. She wants what she wants, and she's not afraid to try to get what she wants. So she's, you know, she's a go-getter. And then so it was really nice seeing how she was chasing him a lot of the points. And he was just like, what is going on? But then you find out later that he's like always been captivated by her, and it was like he was just quiet about chasing her, but he was chasing her from the shadows basically because he was just always there watching her. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 out of 5, mostly because I didn't like the conflict, and I thought he was a little bit scummy for like still wanting to marry someone else, but then also thinking he won the battle by like having Rose as a mistress. And I was just like, I don't like that. And I know there's a redemption, and I know that he like redeems himself, but it's still, you know, I don't like how he initially was like okay with treating Rose like that. And then
well, and I'll just give a very basic synopsis for those of you that didn't read it. So this is Gilded Age, so this is like 1890s. Joanna Shupe is like clearly the queen, truly the queen of writing Gilded Age romance. And so this centers around Rose. She's 19. She's an actress in New York City. We have Moore, who is 38, so quite the age gap. He works, I can't remember what kind of company it was, but something financial, I believe.
He's like basically a trader. Like he trades like
basically like the CEO of this company. What we learn pretty early on in the novella is that he's been married before and he is divorced, which in this time period was unheard of to get a divorce. And the only way that you could get a divorce is pretty much infidelity. You had to like go to court and prove infidelity. And so basically he got the divorce because his wife was just very unhappy in the marriage, and he didn't want her to suffer through the marriage. He also wanted better for himself. And so he hired a woman to like go on the stand and say that they had an affair. So it was a huge scandal because it painted him to be like this dirtbag, basically. And so they got the divorce. And then like his father had passed away shortly after. So he's convinced that he killed his father basically from like the scandal of it all. So now going into this relationship with Rose, I would say like the whole first half of this book is like her pursuing him. But it starts with like he goes to see her in a show that she's in like every night. He's like always there in the same box. And she's intrigued by him. And so she just like gets in his carriage and waits for him one night and thus starts their relationship. And so I personally gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. It's not my absolute favorite Joanna Shupe story or book, but I feel like she just always captivates me.
Yeah.
And I love her characters. Like I truly do. I love how like Rose was like this go-getter and like I mean I'm also gonna relate to her because she's an actor, and I love that it ended up being then more having to chase her at the end to get her back. I loved that flip-flop. Joanna Shupe does that quite often in her books, and it always works out well. What struck me the most actually about this book is that it's written in first person. That really struck me, because like, when do you read historical romance that's in first person?
That's true. I didn't realize that. I guess that makes sense because like a lot of the times I would forget to read the part where I'll tell you which character it is. So it'll be like Rose and it'll be like his name. And then I would get confused. I'd be like, wait a second, who am I? Because it's in first person. Yeah. So I'm like,
yes.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Right.
So,
yeah. Oh, Alicia, you also gave it 5 stars. Fun.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. So I really, really enjoyed it. Lots of angst. I love how like, even though Rose was the one pursuing more, she also was the one like really setting boundaries for their relationship, and like because and I kind of love that from the get-go she was like not about being a mistress.
Yeah,
she was definitely fighting it. It wasn't the kind of situation where she was happily going along with what he wanted. Yeah. And yeah, I kind of loved that back and forth of like, he was like, just let me buy you a house. Like, let me, and she's like, what? Like, and then like all the drama behind like his engagement to this other girl and like the fallout of that. And like, I don't know, I'm here for the drama, and Joanna Shupe will definitely serve that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, like about the boundaries and like setting them. Like I loved how like she stood her ground a lot of the times. Like she would say like we're only having one night and then that's it. And then he would be like trying to persuade her, and then he would like not purposely have like intercourse with her, but like they would fool around, they'll have fun, and then she would pick up on it and she'd be like, you're just dragging this out along because you think I'm stupid, but like I can see what you're doing. And then so it's like slowly winning her over onto his side too. So it wasn't like, like one person was chasing the other. It was like kind of two people kind of chasing each other for like different things in a way.
Yeah.
That's like he was chasing for something more, but she was chasing for fun. And then like it was I loved her. I think she was a great character. She was something that like you don't, not like I wouldn't say like you don't see that often, because right now I feel like we're very progressive and like we're moving towards that direction where we're gonna get a lot of these characters, but it was just refreshing to read regardless.
Yeah, and I love Joanna Shupe's heroines. I really do. As much as I enjoy her heroes, like her heroines, they all have like a strength to them that like, so the heroine from like The Lady Gets Lucky, Alice, like she's more of a softer heroine, but she still has that strength and to her, and like kind of like that go-getter
yeah
to her. And then you have a heroine like Nellie in The Duke Gets Even, that is just like such a go-getter and is all about like women's rights, equal rights, reproductive rights in a time where that definitely was not the thing. Women having their autonomy, right? And yeah, so I definitely appreciate that about her heroines.
Yeah.
Deanna, very quickly, the age gap was too icky for me. That's fair. Read too much like erotica to me instead of romance. Seems like
yeah. I can see that, Linda. There was a point of me where I was like, wait a second. I was 19 once and I was kind of a stupid idiot. So I kind of did. Yeah, like how old was he? He was 38.
38.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. As a mature woman nowadays, I can see, I can completely understand, because like 19 you're still kind of a kid, even though you're of legal age. You're like, your frontal lobe is not fully developed yet, so it's hard to get it. Sometimes it's hard to sink into a story when you recognize that, like, so I get it.
Yeah, I think the reason why it personally still worked for me is because Rose, to me, read a little older than 19. I think she had to grow up because, remember, her backstory is like her parents kicked her out. She was on her own to become an actress in New York City during this time. And given that she is the one to like pursue him and set the boundaries and all of that, like, I feel like that's why it still worked for me personally. Like, she really is the one in control, and I'm putting that in quotes, but like a lot of the time, I don't know, but it definitely did cross my mind. I'm like, ooh, this, like, I personally, with age gaps, I don't know. It depends on the book. It is not it's not a trope that I go after.
Yeah.
So it definitely crossed my mind that, like, ooh, this age gap is like really pushing it for me,
There was, okay, so there are types of books that I'm like, yeah, fine, age gaps, go for it. Like, taboo romances, taboo novellas, like, when I know what I'm getting into, because like that's the type of books that these authors write. But then when it's like from different authors that hasn't written like these things before, and it's supposed to be more of a serious romance with more complex, like, things to the plot, then I'm like, okay, fine. Like, it's ooh, like, it catches you a little bit. So yeah.
Yes.
I get that. Like, but if I'm gonna pick up like just a Kane novel, I'm not gonna be like, what? Age gap, because I already know what's going on.
Oh yeah, I definitely see what you mean. I mean, like, yeah, Jessica Kane, like, is not supposed to be taken seriously. It's over the top, it's unhinged, and that's like, and I love unhinged media. I do.
I love unhinged.
That's something I've realized about myself over the years. There's a reason why I love TV shows that are very soap opera-esque.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why I read things like Jessica Kane every now and then. And Joanna Shupe also has a very unhinged side to her. If any of you don't know, she also writes under the pen name Mila Finelli. And they are very unhinged mafia romances. I'm telling you, like, unhinged. Like, really unhinged. So I feel like this book is like almost going towards the edge of her, like, sane romances. For sure.
I love her,
because it's like, this is indie. This was indie published, this novella. It's interesting that this was actually written for a bind up that never happened. Like a historical romance anthology that just didn't happen, and so she just published it herself. But yeah.
I love how she can like have that duality, and that she's just like just having fun with it, because that's what it should be. Writing should be fun. I'm looking at her Instagram page for her, Mila Finelli.
Yeah.
Is she still like actively writing books under that pen name?
She is. I love that. And that's all like indie published stuff. And in fact, like, speaking of Joanna Shupe, so like, I don't know if any of you guys saw, or if you saw, Lisa, but like, she recently did a cover reveal for her newest book. I think it's called The Gilded Heiress.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a very different cover from the covers that she's had in the past. Right?
I thought this was YA.
To me, it's not clear what genre it is. I don't know what I'm looking at. And in fact, I was messaging with someone who knows Joanna Shupe's personal assistant. And she said that Avon, gave her several options for covers, and she like truly hated all of them. And so this was like the least bad of the bunch. So there's that. It makes me very sad because the premise of this book sounds so fucking good, but that cover, what is that cover? I don't know.
It literally looks like a YA fantasy novel.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Is this adult romance? It doesn't even look like
it's supposed to be an adult historical romance.
It looks like, like there was like a time where mass paper, like, okay, so like, we have these covers, like we have like the beautiful covers and stuff like that. Right. But there's like alternate versions of these books that were also published at the same time, and you'll kind of get it when you buy the eBay book lots. I don't have them on my shelf. Like, it's like the really basic bitch, like, covers. Like,
yeah, like the very like basic, like it's just an object on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yes.
Like, if you get this, like, this is ugly. But then it's only pretty after you open here.
Ooh,
so,
that's
like,
a really pretty setback.
Yeah. So, if you don't have anything that's just ugly. So.
Yeah. And, like, I was talking to Jen
the
other day about it. And she was like, it's probably just that, like, these kinds of covers are coming back in style. Like, because there definitely was a time, like you just showed Annie's song. There definitely was a time where those kind of covers were just objects, like, were popular. Like, that's what was being published. And then we got back to a time in the 2010s where we had the clinch covers, the beautiful clinch covers that we all know and love. And like, now we're coming back to these just like object covers. And like, I'm just not a fan of that cover. Like, I don't think I'm going to buy a physical copy. No.
God. Like, look at these. Like, these were from the 2000s, probably. They're just sad.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think this genre is? Look at this and tell me what you think it is.
I mean, to me, that looks...
Here.
That looks more like contemporary romance to me. I don't know.
Ooh, you are correct. It is a contemporary romance.
Okay, yeah. Because you know what? Those covers kind of remind me of like a little bit of like Sophie Kinsella's books from that time, from like early 2000s.
See, there was a time where a lot of contemporary romances published with illustrations too. So I think everything's just repeating itself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
There will be a point in our lives where historical romance will be back to the original days of glory.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah. It just makes me so sad. Like, oh my God, the covers that Joanna Shupe had for her last two series, like they're truly some of the most stunning covers ever. And then like, you're giving me that for her new book. Like, I don't get it.
It's actually devastating if you think about it.
It is.
Like, it's devastating. Like, look at these. This is a newer version. But, like, even newer versions like these are stunning.
Oh, yeah. That's a very, very pretty cover. I have nothing, to complain about.
Nobody wants to put in well, no, I don't think it's like people don't want to put in the effort of, like, posing a model, building the set, getting the dress, doing it. I think it's just the publishers.
Yeah, like Sandra said, publishers can continue to fail romance readers by not knowing how to market to different types of romance readers. And what this also makes me think of is there are quite a few historical romance authors that are now writing fantasy romance.
Oh,
it's so sad because that's what they're writing to keep up with the times.
Sophie Jordan, for one.
Sophie Jordan, did you see Eva Lee just announced her newest book is going to be fantasy romance?
No.
Yeah, like she just announced that like the other day.
No.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like so strange because on the one hand, I'm hearing from people that publishers are just not buying historical romances anymore or right now or whatever. But then there are a couple of authors that are still coming out, like Vivian Lorette, is that her name? Like, I feel like she's still publishing.
She's still gone.
Charis Michaels, Lorraine Heath.
Yeah, Lorraine Heath just had a new book came out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
It looked really good. The cover looks
cover is normal.
The cover's really great. Yeah, she's still getting really good covers.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's just weird. And I feel like we've been talking about this like for every live show this past year, honestly, of like what is going on with historical romance, what is happening, like, you know. I don't know.
Lenora Bell's book got pushed. Or like
Who's? Oh, Lenora
Lenora
Bell.
Bell. Like she wrote one book that was published like in 2023, end of 2023. And then her new book is now coming out in I think like the fall of 2025. So disappointed in that. But she did say to us that she's a slow writer. But so I'm not gonna be mad about it. But I'm also like, I hope she's getting deals. Ooh, Linda told me that Lorraine Heath was great.
I've heard really great things about that series, that whole series. I haven't read it yet, but
I haven't read the second one yet because the first one kind of fell short for me. But then now I know what I'm entering, which is more mystery and intrigue and suspense.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I know what I want. You
Well,
can talk about the Stacy Reid novella.
I was about to say, yeah,
you can talk about it. Yeah.
For a second. So this is a novella that she published back in like 2019, but it got a newer cover, a really pretty cover.
Very beautiful.
So it's called Wicked Deeds on a Winter Night. This, I will say, if you look at the cover, you read the title, you're gonna expect like a sexier book than this is. Like there are erotic elements for sure.
Yeah.
But this novella ended up being more sad.
Yeah,
like more sad than like anything else, honestly, truly. Like it's more sad, more dramatic. So basic premise, we have our heroine, her name is Primrose, I believe. She is a governess for this family. And I think the hero's name was Marcus or Mark. No, Marcus, probably. He is a part of this family. I want to say like the patriarch is an earl. And then, so he's a viscount and he will be an earl. No, his brother is the heir. He's the spare. But anyways, so Primrose is the governess to Marcus's younger sister. They bond. It's like friends to lovers. They start bonding over like early morning walks around the estate and they fall for each other. Marcus ends up going off to war. He comes back 2 years later and Primrose is still the governess for this household. And so when Marcus comes back, he is like dead set on marrying Primrose. Even though they're of different classes, like there's no, in his mind, he's like, I don't care. Like, especially because he is the spare. He's like, my brother married someone of the aristocracy. They had a child recently. Like, we're all good in terms of like the earldom. Who cares what I do anyway? And I love you. Like, I want to spend my life with you. Meanwhile, like, once his family finds out, they basically disown Marcus and, like kick them off the estate. And so around, because I don't want to spoil too much, but around like the halfway mark, we see that like Marcus and Primrose find their own place. They find like a cottage nearby and they're planning to get married. And it just gets really sad because like things get in the way of them like actually getting married and being with each other. Basically, like his family is just like really cold to Primrose and like just really awful.
It's just depressing.
So like definitely a good chunk of this book is depressing. but I will say it's beautifully written. I really like Stacy Reid's writing style. It just feels very authentic to the time period while still being accessible, still being like easily understandable, but it just also has like a lyricism to it it's just a very pretty writing style. So yes, I agree, Alicia. It definitely had a sad feel to it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I did enjoy it for what it is. Just know that like I feel like looking at the cover and the title, like I said, you would maybe go into this thinking it's more erotica, more, just like sexier, more fun, but it's not.
I thought it would be like a winter fun novella kind of thing.
It is wintry, but it's not fun.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yes,
you know what? I am gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. I have to read it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna read
I
it.
still would recommend it. It's just like it's a winter, sweet but sad, like Alicia said, story. Like that's very accurate for sure.
Oof. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of like publishers who still are publishing historical romance with nice covers, because we were kind of talking about covers, but like, you know what? You know who's doing a good job? Entangled Publishing is doing a good job. They recently like launched their like physical line. They usually just do ebooks, and then they're doing a lot more physical books and putting it on the shelves. So that's like been really good to see. It kind of not them continuing Avon's legacy, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, who writes for them? It would be
Stacy Reid.
And like Amelie Howard, is that right?
Yeah, she does write. There's like Michelle McLean, Eva Devon now writes for them too as well. Jennifer Hamer, Tina Gabriel. I never read her yet, but her covers are gorgeous. And then like I'm just looking at their new releases. There's just one that I bought. I don't have it, forgive me, but I don't have it with me right now. But it's like really cute. And I think it's YA historical.
I'd like to read some YA historical romance.
I just feel like it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Witty in Pink. Look how cute.
That is so cute. I like that cover.
Erica George.
Cute. Is that out already?
Yeah, it's out.
Ooh.
Keep your friends close and keep your nemesis closer. So I think it's an enemies to lovers romance.
Cute.
Yeah, it's a YA historical romance. It has a 3.87 rating on Goodreads.
I really like that cover.
Yeah.
I really, really like that cover. Yeah, I've never read from this author before. I'm seeing some good ratings.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Rachel and I and others will be we'll be hosting a historical romance readathon that is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's January 13th all the way to the 19th.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then we will be reading a lot of historical romance, and we are excited.
Yeah.
As we need to push ourselves to read more. Well, at least I need to push myself, speaking for myself.
No, I also need to push myself. As much as I love historical romance, I think just because the books that get marketed to us on a day-to-day basis are contemporary romances or darker romances, or fantasy romances, that's what like gets stuck in my mind a lot of the time. And it's like I just have to remind myself, like, no, like you love historical romance. What are you doing? Like,
yeah, literally.
Like
literally our whole room is like with historical romances, majority. We will be doing, well, some of us will be doing reading sprints. So Jen will definitely be doing some. She mentioned it. Rachel is going to see if she has some time.
Yes.
Me, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have some time during the week, mostly because I have to go into the office and it's a busy period for me. So, but there will be a live show, I believe, on January 19th. It'll be a quick discussion.
Yes, that one's going to be just like a wrap up.
Yeah.
That one's going to be like a short and sweet, like 45-minute, live show. We're definitely planning on doing reading sprints. We just have not solidified days and times because we want to pick times that at least like two of us are available. So like, it's not just one person hosting them by themselves. But yeah, I am genuinely excited for this readathon. We haven't had a historical romance readathon like this in a while. And I think it's also fun to like collaborate with another book club. If you guys don't know, Crystal and Jen host the Rake Appreciation Society book club. And then of course we're the Blushing Blue Stocking Society. So the readathon is called like the Blue Stocking meets the Rake readathon. And then also while we're here, I did announce this, I want to say last week, but our January pick for this book club is going to be The Marquis Who Mustn't by Courtney Milan. So excited for this because, Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we like buddy read the first book of this series?
No, we didn't.
I buddy read that with somebody, and now I can't remember who it was, and it's going to drive me nuts. But anyways, I read the first book called The Duke Who Didn't, and I really enjoyed that book.
Oh my gosh. Did you see the third book in the series? Look how beautiful that one is.
Yeah, I did see that. That's
yeah, that's a card.
So this would be a great book to put on your TBRs for the readathon. Another book that would be great to put on your TBR is the Rake Appreciation Society pick, which I will pull that up. This is called, this might not be the most recent cover, but it's called The Silent Duke by Jess Michaels. I have never read from this author before, but I actually have some of her arcs sitting on my NetGalley shelf that I am very excited to get to, but this is their January pick.
She has been writing for a long time, I believe. And she has written for Harlequin Romance, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Because I've read some of her books. She wrote some pirate romances, and you know the girl loves a pirate romance. So and no, wait, she wrote one where she was pretending to be a boy, and she snuck on the ship. And then obviously our hero is like the captain. So
love that.
I know. I eat that shit up. Okay.
Oh man. But yeah, so I am excited. I also posted just a little picture on my YouTube and like my Instagram stories of like my TBR stack. There are still so many historical romances that I own physically that I have not read. So I tried my best to pull as many physical books out for this, but I also have books that I don't own physically that I want to read. And I know I'm going to be really busy with work, so I don't even know what I'm actually going to get read. So there's that. But I'm hoping to read as many as possible, you know, in the span of a week. I think I am going to do a vlog. Yeah, just because I haven't vlogged historical romances in a really long time. Like, I remember back in like 2021, 2022, I made like dedicated reading vlogs for historical romances, and I haven't done that in a long time. So I think I am going to do that for this readathon. I think that'll be really fun.
I think that would be really fun too. And hold me accountable, guys, since this is my channel and, you know, people are watching me right now. But I think I'm going to get back into YouTube. And I think I will start with historical romance because of this readathon.
Yeah.
When Jen asked me, do I want to participate? I was like, you know what? I need a motivator to get back into editing and filming videos. So, God knows what the hell I will be talking about. It's been so long. I was just looking at my channel, and it was like the last video I posted was 7 months ago, and it was historical romance. So,
okay.
I guess it's fitting to talk about historical romance. Yeah, but I don't know what, because I haven't been reading that much historical romance. So
me neither. Like, I read a couple in December. I'm reading one right now because we have a live show on Sunday for the Hathaways read along that we're doing. Yeah, I'm reading Mine Till Midnight right now. I'm rereading Mine Till Midnight. I also really want to read The Lotus Palace. Like, that sounds like a really good series. Have you read it, Lisa?
No, I think you showed it to me. It was either between Courtney Milan or Jenny Lynn. Is that her name? Yeah. It was between those two. So I haven't read that one, though.
Yeah, it just sounds like really unique, too, for historical romance. It takes place, I want to say, like 800 AD in China. Like, very, very interesting setting. And I want to say it has, like, a mystery aspect to it. And the Lotus Palace is essentially a brothel. There's another term for it. I can't remember. But, like, I think the heroine is, like, a servant to one of the geishas or one of the, you know, women who works at the Lotus Palace. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued, for sure.
All right, we got some recommendations for whatever
Ooh.
doing. Start with chatty videos, what you want to read, what you're excited about, getting ready type of videos, low editing to get your groove back.
Yeah.
Thank you for your advice. You're inspiring me. I think I'm gonna chat my ass off because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just saw your sweater. It's so cute. Is it chipmunk?
So it's
no, wait, no, it's not chipmunk. What is it?
It is.
It's
Buc-ee's. I don't know. Buc-ee's is a like convenience store / gas station chain in the States. And so like my sister got me a Christmas sweater.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I love that. Yeah.
So what have you been reading lately? Have you been reading much?
Oh yeah, I have. Like the new year started and I already read 6 books, maybe.
Nice. Yeah, I've already read 7 books so far this month.
Just one up me. You're better than me. I get it.
To be fair, we've got some manga mixed up in there. So like, those are easier to get through.
I've been reading like contemporary romance because I've been trying to get into the groove of Libby again, listening to audiobooks. There was a long period of time where I couldn't really sit through a whole audiobook, and I would take 3 days to listen to one because I just can't concentrate. Anyway, so I'm getting back into the groove of it. This one's called The Jewel of the Isle by Carrie Rhea. So fucking funny. Why was this so funny? I was laughing my ass off.
I've never heard of that book.
It's an adventure. It's an adventure romance. It came out in December and it only has 500. No, it came out in November and it only has 564 reviews. I need justice for this book. So maybe I'll talk about this book in my video. So fucking funny.
Oh, I really like this cover.
I died. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you the premise of this book. So she's a doctor. And then her dad was like Bear Grylls, basically. And then her dad and her mom had this agreement where he could travel the world, explore, and do all these things. But a couple times of the year, he has to come back and help take care of the children. Then the mom died. So then he was like, okay, I got to give up this dream, this life. I need to take care of like my children, my 2 daughters. So then he like goes back home and takes care of it, raises them, gets them into college. And then he's like, okay, finally, I can go back to traveling around the world. I can explore the wilderness. I can do all these jungle adventures and things like that. And then he's like, do you want to do it with me, to the main heroine? And the heroine's just like, yeah, like I'm going to do it. I'm just like really busy right now. I'm like a doctor. So like, yeah, we'll do it. And then he suffers a heart attack and dies in the bookstore. And she's devastated. So then now she wants to fulfill her father's dying wish by going on an adventure into this jungle in search for like this like grand like mystery like diamond ruby thing. But she's not looking for it. She just wants to explore. And she hires our hero, who is part of a travel agency, who promises these like adventurous like trips and things like that. And he'll help you navigate through the jungle and he'll help you navigate everything and you'll survive. But then only until they get to the jungle and they do all these things does she realize that the tour guide is which is our hero, does not know shit about the jungle, does not know shit about looking at a compass, doesn't know how to read a map. And it's because his late brother was in charge of these like jungle adventures for the family's business, and he himself was in charge of only marketing and taking photos. So he doesn't know how to survive. And it's hilarious because he's described as Chris Hemsworth, like looks like Chris Hemsworth, but like a bimbo. And they keep calling him a bimbo, like he's dumb.
A himbo.
And he himself is like, I know I'm not smart, but I have feelings. It's just so funny. And then,
wait, have you seen the movie The Lost City with Sandra Bullock?
Is it based off of it?
No, but it stars Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. And
oh no, I haven't watched that one.
Oh my god, you should. I think it's now on like Netflix and Hulu and like all the things.
Is he a bimbo?
Yeah, he is. What's so funny about that is actually like she's a romance author.
Oh my god.
He like poses for her covers.
Stop.
So he's like Fabio. He's got like the long hair. Like, so anyways, they like end up in the jungle together, and like it's just giving me vibes of what you're talking
Oh my
about.
god,
Like,
I have to watch it.
yeah,
That
please
might be the
watch
movie
it.
I watch. Was it funny? Was it like a good
It was
rom-com?
so funny, and like Daniel Radcliffe is also in it, and like his
Randomly.
role is so like random and so hilarious too.
I'm laughing just thinking about it. Is it Sandra Bullock?
Yeah, Sandra Bullock. Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love her. There was only just like a part of me that just went like, Channing Tatum, because like I'm like, I don't know how I feel about you, but I don't know why I have this prejudice against him, because literally every single fucking movie that I watch with him in it, I laugh my ass off. Like 21 Jump Street.
He's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's funny.
You know, like This Is the End, where he played like a little cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's funny. I should stop, being prejudiced against him.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy that movie based on what you're talking about in the book is.
Yeah, that book was hilarious. Almost gave that 5 out of 5 stars. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was my first 4.5. But yeah, I've just been reading contemporary romances.
I've been into darker contemporary romances.
Ooh, which is a dark one that you've read recently?
I'm gonna go get it because it's over there. I had to buy a copy because it was so good.
Oh damn.
Okay. When I tell you this book like has taken over my life and like my personality, Serpentine Valentine.
Oh, never heard of that one.
By Joanna Darling. Oh my god, Lisa. Like this book like actually took over my life. I read it in a day, which is unheard of for me nowadays. Like it usually takes me like 3 days or so to read a book. Yeah. I read this in a day.
How long is it?
So somewhere around like 350 pages. This is a dark sapphic, dark academia romance. Very, very dark because, and it's also a Medusa retelling. Very dark because one of our main characters, Lex, at the very beginning of the book, she gets sexually assaulted by her professor. But so she is now like hell-bent on revenge against this professor, as well as one of the top, like the president of the university, because she's been trying to cover it all up. And so her like ultimate revenge is to seduce the president of the university's daughter. And so it's their romance. And like when I tell you this book took over my life, like I was crying. I was obsessed because like Joanna Darling's writing is so beautiful in this book. Like so stunning. And yeah, I was crying.
It was a visceral reaction.
Definitely like a very visceral book. And just like a beautiful dark sapphic romance. Like now I want to read all the sapphic romances because I love that. This was everything. So very different from, what we're going to be reading next week, historical romances. But, yeah, it's just a stunning book that I cannot recommend highly enough. Like the writing, the journey these characters go on, the romance is like incredibly beautiful, but also incredibly sexy and angsty. And yeah. And like oh my God, Lex, our like main character, like her journey from the beginning to the end, like, yeah, I was like sobbing at times. Like she is like one of my favorite characters ever now. So
oh my gosh, that's high praise. That's really high praise.
So definitely. Have you read anything by Joanna Darling?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. I think that this would be, because it's a standalone, so like you could definitely just like start with this.
Yeah, she writes a lot of emotional reads, right?
Yes.
Like she wrote this like MC like motorcycle club like series that got really popular.
I have not read that series yet, but I definitely plan to. So I've read this, and then I've read 2 of her duets. One of them I loved, one of them I didn't, but they were like very different couples, like very different vibes between the two. So I'm excited to check out her Motorcycle Club series.
Jessica loves her.
Oh yeah, like I think
I
what's
think a lot of people
about her is just like her writing. I think her writing talent is incredible, like truly incredible.
I'm excited. I want to read. Well, we can't read it yet. We got to read historical romance.
By the way, the audiobook for this was top tier.
Okay.
Top tier audiobook.
I'm glad that there's an audiobook because like you never really know with like indie romances.
I think it kind of recently came out, the audio. But yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, and then I've been reading just like random books because like I read that, and then I'm like back into manga.
Which one did you read recently?
I have to reread the first few volumes of Full Metal Alchemist so that I can finally move on with the series.
Yeah.
So I'm currently rereading those volumes that I need to reread. And so that's obviously very different. That is not a romance story. That is that is like sci-fi fantasy, like YA, but just a very well done story.
Do you watch the TV show?
I watched a few of the episodes, but I think I wanted to just like read all of the manga and then go back. But the anime is really great. The episodes that I have seen, it's the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because there's two different anime series. But that one, yeah, that really is an amazingly well done anime adaptation for sure.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I heard good things about the anime. That's why a lot of people watch it.
The anime is great. Mm-hmm.
Elsie Silver books. I read some of hers, and I didn't really like it, but I like some of it. I understand it, but then I also don't really like it. It's kind of weird. It's a toss-up. Sometimes I like the story and I like it, but then other times I'm just like, I don't like the characters. But
which ones have you read, or which one did you read?
It was her popular series.
The like Powerless,
Heartless. 100% those ones. Yep. The Chestnut Spring ones.
Yeah.
So I read Flawless, Heartless, Powerless. Didn't read Reckless yet. Powerless, I gave 2 stars. Heartless, I gave 4 stars. So I like that one. And then
Heartless is like the fan favorite for sure. Like Heartless? That one, Heartless I feel like is like unanimously loved.
Yeah. I'm not weird. I like things people like. I thought I was just
that one's probably my favorite of hers that I've read. I still need to read Wild Eyes, which is book 2 of her most recent series. I read book 1, which is Wild Love. I personally did not love it, which is interesting because a lot of our friends love that book. Okay. And it personally did not work for me, though I have been a fan of the Chestnut Spring series. I enjoyed all of those. But I've heard Wild Eyes is another like unanimously loved book. I think she writes single parent romances very well, and that's what that one is. Like he's a single dad.
Yeah.
So I am excited to read that one, but she's not, for me personally, she's not like an all-time favorite author. Yeah. Like I enjoy her books. Yeah, but she's not like an all-time fave. I do think she caters a bit too much to like the TikTok girlies.
Yes. That's why I don't like her.
Yeah.
I can tell. I can feel it.
He's catering to.
There's a lot of like lines, just dropped in there so that you can.
There's a lot of what?
Like lines. Like it'll just be like things that he'll say or like things that he'll do, and it's just like right after like each other. There's no break, so then that's why I'm just like, all right.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, they're enjoyable books, but yeah.
I like Lauren Asher. I know she's like she's blonde.
I have not read any of her books.
Oh, I do like her novels. I think her world is like billionaire romances, but then like they're long. So then you're like, oh, like I don't want to start this. They're so long. But then afterwards, like you get into it and you get to know the characters. And because they're long, you live their lives with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels good.
Yeah.
So yeah. The Charm Offensive. I heard really good things about The Charm Offensive. That was a highly rated novel. Like it was up there with the ratings.
Yeah, I heard good things about that one too.
Ooh,
I loved how the Marquis was won there. Julianne Long for me is hit or miss, but when she hits, she really hits. Like I would say there's like 3 books of hers that I've read that I have truly loved. So, but I am really excited about like her newest book because she's still writing in her Palace of Rogues series.
Yeah.
She still gets really pretty covers. So I'm excited to read. I think it's like The Beast Takes a Bride is like her newest book, but the Marquis book is from her Pennyroyal Green series. That's like it's kind of 11 books. It's a long series. But so I've read a couple books in that series, but not all of them by any means.
I heard good things about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She gives slight Tessa Dare vibes, I would say.
I haven't read one by her, so I can't agree with you.
Yeah, the Palace of Rogues series, so that's her newest series. That one gives slight Tessa Dare vibes because of like the different kinds of people that stay at this boarding house. Like the series centers around this boarding house that the 2 heroines from the first 2 books run together. And so there's just like a lot of like eccentric people that stay there, and like their staff, like the maid and the footman that work for them, are also like quirky, funny characters. So yeah, she definitely gives some slight Tessa Dare vibes.
I like that. I'm gonna have to check it out. I have the whole series just staring at me collecting dust.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Not all the books are my favorite, but there are some like kind of all-time faves within that series for me. I really
gems in there.
Some gems. Like for me, books 2 and 4 are like the highlight of the series so far. But I've enjoyed all of them.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, it was really nice chatting with everybody today, and it was really nice catching up with Rachel as always about musicals and romance and our 2 books that we picked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we didn't pick a time yet for our live show.
We didn't
just picked the book. So that's a TBA. That's a to be announced.
That is TV. It'll be at some point in like early February, I guess. Yeah.
And it will be on Rachel's channel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And everybody has permission to message me on Instagram or spam me on wherever if I don't hold myself accountable and post something on this YouTube channel.
Yay!
I will force myself. First of all, YouTube sent me an email telling me I needed to fill out some tax forms or else like blah, 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 taxes will get withdrawn. And I'm like, YouTube, I make $2. Take it. If you tax me.
Right?
Give me a fucking headache just for giving me $2 from the views I make.
Right?
Now it's an extra line item on my tax return. Like, come on, guys, let's work together here. Help me out. You know?
Right.
Anyways, I'm just here for a good time. I'm not here to make money. So I think that's my mentality for YouTube. I'm just here for a good time.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not here to make money because I'm certainly not making money. So
yeah. Actually, I was also going to say that was my mentality for the whole 2024, and look where that got me. My last video was published 7 months ago, so maybe I should change my mentality, and I should be like, let's make money on YouTube.
Really? Just like start hustling.
just start selling myself.
There you go.
Just YouTube reels every single day.
Right? Yes.
I will not stop until I make money. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Anyways, it was really nice chatting with everybody, but we will see you again next time in early February. And we will talk for the readathon as well. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Alright, bye,
Well,
everybody.
bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.